Hey there everybody, SeKo Starcraft bringing you a good long ZVT as I'm enjoying some gin on the couch after a long week of work. This says Reaper King, but it's actually Apocalypse. Going up against Lucky. This is the final game of a best of 3, which I didn't watch the rest of the games because I just picked out this one because it looked cool. So whoever wins this game wins the best of 3 and moves on into the final of the Zotac Cup monthly tournament. Because it is a longer game, I'm going to speed it up slightly. I generally try to avoid this unless I know that I'm going to be spending a long time sitting down here drinking at a replay. What is that? Jones? Oh, he's scouting for any proxies. This map is notorious for proxies. I'm not sure why. Couple of little jabs there by the drone. Doesn't look like he's going to get trapped at all. The barracks is going to finish up in 2 seconds. Gas is down, so he might see a Reaper. We did have an expansion before pool. Repair? It is a repair. And we're going to have the finish of the wall up. Now it's more of a decision. I'm expecting to see a factory before a command center. But something tells me that the Mr. Apocalypse here is going to want to try to get himself out a little bit more economy. Two Reapers, second one's going to queue up. So he might end up factoring behind this and just trying to really put on the early pressure with the Hellion and the Reaper combo. It's a combo meal and get a Wendy's, $7.99. We don't see it yet. Big resource build up. There it is for the expansion. So once you get Reapers out on the map, you're pretty safe against just about anything coming your way. Even if he makes 6 or 8 lings, he's not going to have speed out early enough to really stop you. Yeah. Shoot that hatchery. So the Reaper's out. The lings, once again, are slow lings, but they will chase away the Reaper. It's more important to just get those queens out. The queen's the only thing you're really going to have that deals with these very well. Second Reaper is now in the game. Queen's now out. So it's kind of going to shut that down. We don't have a queener in the main. Ooh, that'd have been a great pickup. We have a queen in the main as well. A little bit of a dangerous spot for the Reapers. But you can always jump down the cliffs, but with those 6 lings out on the map and 2 queens. That's what I was about to say. Get the third command center down. Those 2 Reapers are going to deal with most things just fine. Once the Hellions are out, along with the Reapers, it's not going to be any problem with dealing with this. This build, I absolutely love this build. And I've got to work harder to polish on this whenever I try to do this build. I never seem to have the resources to go for that third command center. But in this case, this is super common too. This is what a ton of Terran people do. Those people there. They like to do is be able to get out a lot of tech, so they've got pretty much all the different tech options that they need. The Hellions and the Reapers will deal with pretty much anything the Zerg can do in the early game, except for roach bushes. Unfortunately, what this Reaper Hellion combo is really trying to do is make sure that this third base is as useless as possible. They're starting to get the first creep moved now with the third queen. Very important to get these bases connected, because once these Reapers and Hellions really get out on the map, even though these Zerglings have speed, they're not really going to be able to deal that well with that kind of light armor damage. As I play as a Zerg player against this type of build, the difficulty is how many lings should you really produce, and should you get things like spine crawlers. We see the one at the frontier just to be able to help with warding away any kind of run-bys. But part of the strategy here is to get out this banshee as well. This is going to give him a ton of map control, so even if roaches come out, there really isn't going to be too much that's going to be able to deal with those Reapers until the mid-game, when perhaps he goes into some form of muta play, which is very likely. This map's pretty good for mutas, but except for the back, you can't really hide behind bases super well on this map. Looks like one hellion did get picked off. 3 queens to the front. How many queens has he got total now? 4? 5 queens. It's a pretty good number. He's actually got a 6th on the way as well. So it looks like creep spread is going to be very important here for Lucky. Really wants to defend this front, let his creep expand out. The job of the Terran in the early game with these kind of units is to really make sure this third base isn't getting up. But denying this creep is also super important. When those banelings come out, and particularly with the fast slings on creep, you need to be able to have the control to deal with that. It's easy to run around these units. Lots of Terran units such as Marines and Hellions. Once you're on creep, getting a surround on them with lots and lots of lings is not that hard. We see that Lucky isn't overcommitting into lings right now. Baneling Nest is on the way. More interested in getting his economy up. 4th command center. Why not? Go for it, brah. I do like in the super late game when they start getting the planetary fortresses out in this choke. It really defends both of these corridors super well. And if you get your tanks or anything out here to siege up, you're in a good spot. Trying to police the creep a little bit better. Spore in a spine. It's a nice little front defense there. If we look at the units, I'm sure 1 banshee, 2 banshees are out. This guy, 5 kills. That's decent. The other one's brand new. We do have a spore at each base now. Yep. Well placed. Queens are there as well, so that'll take care of just about anything. Did get a cancel on one of those creep tumors, which is quite smart. We do have a ling run around here. It'd be nice if he came around the other side though and sandwiched it. Pretty desperate to control that creep, even though there's 5 queens at the front here. We did have the zergling run by, I saw that, but I wanted to see what happened at the front. Uh-oh. Yeah, those lings are toast. He might have been hoping to drag another mine somewhere, but just toast. Probably take the cloak off those bad boys. Cloak's so much cheaper now, so it becomes so much more realistic to mix in a few banshees. I've been surprised to see so little banshee play even outside of cloak in a lot of Terran games. Terran versus Zerg especially. Terran versus Protoss, to me, there's always stalkers and observers everywhere. But as a Zerg player, it's not like you just happen to have Hydras kicking around in there. It's not until you really have Infestors out. Even using Infestors against Banshees isn't that effective. You'll use up a lot of the energy you'd rather use on Marines. Looks like we've got Mech coming out of our Terran player. Starting to get those upgrades rolling along. But you'll see that he's pretty far behind the Zerg player. He's already on 2-2 for his melee. Does have a Roach Warren. May have seen the Mech play. Looks like he did run through an Overseer and see what was coming at him. Oh, it is. Let me see what's under attack. Oh. And Zillion. Alright. Still lots of Hellions on the map. I'm kind of surprised Blue Flame hasn't been researched yet. Unless it hasn't, I just didn't notice. I am a fan of using Swarm Hosts against Mech. Cancel? Uh-oh. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Get punched. Now, you might not have thought that was a really cost-effective thing for Lucky, who's still down in supply. But that was the map control there for Apocalypse. He did need to keep that going. Does need to get a Spore down here as well. 1 Spore on this side should deal with this alright. Ooh, there's the bad boys. This is a lot of tech though out of Lucky. You see he's got mutas in play, he's got Swarm Host tech, he's got melee upgrades which aren't all that great for helping out your Swarm Hosts. Pneumatized Carapace. Looks like he just feels like he has the bank, so he's getting everything in the book. Now, we've got that 160, 170 supply for the Terran that you usually see the move out with. 2-2 has just started though, whereas 2-2 is finished already for the Zerg player. I believe he knows this is on the way. So now it's what is he going to use to deal with that. If he's got enough swarm hosts out, he should be able to ward it off, but they're not in position right now to defend this base. There is only 2 Thors. If there was something like 20 mutalisks, he might be able to magic box this with no problem and take care of this entire army. But it doesn't look like the Terran wants to commit into that space. Should have made myself a new drink before I started the cast in this long game. It's interesting that he took this base before this base up here. Generally considered much safer. And I'm also a little surprised he hasn't... There's the static defense. I was about to say he needs some static defense, particularly a spore crawler, if banshees continue to be used throughout this game. The Terran is maxed now, and 2-2 is about to finish. He needs to push out, he needs to try something. Trade cost effectively, something like that. Just so that way he can start doing damage. Otherwise, his opponent, who's getting out a lot more tech and upgrades, is going to push past him. Those swarm hosts are going to have to vamoose out of there. There he goes. Yeah, he's going to push in on that 4th base. Having the medevacs in here for the Hellbats is actually pretty cool. Oh, so be very careful about that. It's an interesting mix. I don't mind this mix from Lucky. It just seems like it's so unbelievably gas intensive that he can't support all the different angles. Siege tanks in position. Once again, these locusts. Oh, now they got +1. Good timing on that. I was about to say he spent so much time on melee upgrades that he wasn't really getting great value out of these locusts. He did pull away all of his drones. In come the mutas. They're going to clean that up, no problem. The Zerg player did lose a base, but he didn't lose the workers. I think of this a lot as well when I'm doing attacks. Killing off a base, if he doesn't have many bases to mine from, is really important. But if you don't really get the workers, it doesn't help you out as much as you might think. The workers are the things that cost a lot of money. I mean, essentially a hatchery costs the same as 6 drones. So if you don't kill any drones, you can remake that hatchery pretty easily. Does get a tank out of that, that's pretty nice. Gotta be careful. +2 is now finished. They will tear through the mutas. Corruptor's on the way in Greater Spire. He's gonna go into the Mega mix. Whenever I say that, it sounds like one of those bad, like, 90s CD compilations. Uh-oh. You guys ever remember that? Like, Much Mix 1996 or something like that. Oh, if he can get a Thor, that'd be decent. He is off creep, though, so I don't think he's gonna be able to pick it off. Get the tank, though. Nope, not quite. I've personally been able to deal with mech armies well with enough tank saturation. And these locusts are like little beach balls flying everywhere. It's so adorable. Now, this is unfortunate. He does have the ravens in here with seeker missiles. Not ready yet, unfortunately. But they will give him vision. Completely maxed armies. I knew this was a long game, but I wasn't too sure how it was going to play out, though. Clearing out the creep is very important here. It's giving so much extra mobility to these swarm hosts. They need to be able to get up and move into a new position really quickly. Lots of command centers here, too. Static planetaries, exactly like I said. Is this going to go planetary up? I think so. The Terran's not in a big rush. He's getting his upgrades. Blue Flame, finally. Got himself a huge bank, tons of command centers. All he needs to do now is slowly push across the map and take very stable bases. I mean, the Zerg can't really attack into this, can he? Now that's funny timing. Oh, he did catch him on siege too, though. That'd have been unbelievably fortunate. Yeah, I see that that mech army barely got scratched by those swarm hosts. The broodlord's gonna be much more important. There's only 2 Vikings in this composition. Oh, I don't know about this though. Oh boy. This is a really interesting spot. It looks like a really bad spot for the Terran player, but his army is just so good. I didn't realize point defense drone worked on locusts. Oh, he actually got down that command center. That's pretty sick. There's our swarm host buddies. I was waiting to see when they would show up. If anybody hears random sounds, my kitty cat decided to climb up me and may start playing with the microphone. A couple crawlers here will at least slow down this attack a little bit. Might get in some interesting damage here. Preemptive liftoff on this side. There's such a huge amount of money for the Terran. I don't really think that that run by is really going to be that important. Maybe he's just waiting for... Like, I think he's got enough broodlords here to push in on this. With his mutalisks, where does mutas go? With his mutas in tow, he would have been able to, I think, deal with this alright. Oh, kaboom. That turned out really, really well for Apocalypse because the broodlords ran over the rest of the swarm hosts with those secret missiles. Now the broodlords feel like they got enough numbers, but we're getting 5 Vikings made at a time right now. These roaches, like I know that they're trying to do their best now, but I don't really think they're getting that much done in the grand scheme of things. This was the worst time possible to run too. That's what you call a waste of good roaches. Ultralisks as well. This guy's got everything in the tech rulebook. Four Thors and up to 5 Vikings at a time. Oh no, don't just throw them away. Oh man. Pretty good spreads, but I don't know. These Thors should probably be getting into high impact payload though. They'd do a lot better against these. Oh, we got queens in here for the transfuses as well. Impressive. That is so many Vikings. Lucky kind of got stomped down in that. Looks like he saved most of his swarm hosts. But those Vikings, he lost a bunch. There's only 4 left. They cleaned up everything in the skies. The bank is gone for both players though, if that means anything. Battle cruisers? This thing has every tech possible. The only thing I've not seen yet that I would consider high tech is Viper. Oh, and Ghost with Nuke. There hasn't been Ghost with Nuke yet either. Zerglings are a total waste. They're not going to do anything. Lucky got a little bit caught out of position there. Ah, come on, kitty cat. This is the craziest Terran ball I've seen. Raven, Battlecruiser, Viking, Thor, Tank, Hellbat with Blue Flame. That doesn't even seem legal. Well, because he's maxed out, the Terran ball's gotta stay together. He is going to get run in on here. Looks like we're going to go base tradie. Yeah, this one Thor down here is getting lots done. What are these Thors doing? Attack stuff! It looks like he wants to get the starports down, actually. Well, he's got 2 Thors back here doing nothing right now. And he's not even attacking the starports up here. Sort of lazy. There you go. Looks like both these players are caught a little off guard by this. They got a lot of static units just kind of sitting around. Wow. This Terran base got routed when he could have lifted up most of this stuff. What the hell is going on? The good thing about the swarm hosts is they are technically free units. And the Terran's actually losing a lot here. This worked out really, really well for the Zerg player. Supply-wise. He's rebuilding his spire. Thought I'd be able to spot it down there. There's a fair bit left for anti-air because of all these Thors. So I'm not too sure exactly what his plan is. All the supply depots are going down, so the Terran's not going to be able to build army anyways. At this point, he's got to try to essentially win with what he's got, even though he's got a huge bank. The Zerg player does have to try to keep its overlords alive, though. Still has a lot of supply here, and that's actually really important for him if he does want to make new units. Vipers! Vipers. Interesting. Every unit that the Zerg player gets right now is really important. And this is a pretty sick army, but the problem is, until he gets enough corruptors, he can't really deal with the BCs. That's funny. That's really funny, actually. You should be in plain vision of each other. That's so cute. Looks like Reaper King, Apocalypse did manage to get down some supply depots. Try to get himself back out of the doldrums here. Using up a lot of his energy here on those point defense drones. The point defense drone is actually the most expensive thing you can cast as a Raven. Oh, that's really, really fortunate. This is going to come down to one really crazy engagement here. Another tank goes down too. This is really strange. The thing is, I think the Zerg's in a better position, but the air battle is what's going to be really important here. And these Ravens really want to cast their Seeker missiles, but they have to keep casting point defense drones. Oh, Zergling's keeping the watchtower. That's smart. This spire is still technically alive. Ooh. See, that's why you need to spread these overlords around a little bit and check for that kind of stuff. The hive staying intact is actually pretty critical. The bank for the Terran will carry him. Mass making these. The Zerg does see this. The Zerg should know that the Terran needs to stay together for this. It cannot afford to get caught separated very much right now. Does have the high impact payload in place finally. This is great awareness here by Lucky. Unfortunately for Reaper King, he's going to get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Don't run away! You want to kill that command center! No! What are you doing? Go back after the command center. Trying to build SCVs. Oh, he can't lose these. Good awareness there by Lucky. He does not want to lose. Foremost. Long distance mining. Every little bit counts. Wow, he gets... Oh, he didn't get that last command center. Oh, what did I just do? You better not be... Okay, good. I was like, oh no. Pushed the wrong thing. Structures. That's what I want. T. That's it. That's the last building for the Terran. Right there. He does have no SCVs. 2 mules that will die shortly. Secret missiles do hit, but it doesn't look like they killed too much, unfortunately. Hello, kitty cat. I love you too. Oh, did they see it? He sees it. He sees the last building. The Terran's gonna have to move around the map with this building now. He can drop mules and mine from here. The Zerg player does have enough money to throw down a base. I think it'd be worth his while to do so, particularly if he expects something like this to happen. Would he be able to kill this fast enough if he ran in there? That is a lot of corruptors. What does he pull? I think pulling the Ravens would be the best bet, actually. If you pull the Ravens out and kill those, get rid of the point defense drone, you've got your swarm host that will do a lot better job. The Vikings have actually landed at this point, which is really, really surprising. This is a pretty good position for the Terran there, getting the swarm host to go around the long way. He does go for the Ravens. Not the best splits. Get some splits. I think that's the only Raven left now. Yes, it is. Of course it is. This is kind of strange. The Zerg player doesn't have enough money to throw down another hatch or something like that, which might be worth his while. As the Terran player tries to just, ooh, don't lose those if you don't need to. The only thing that could save this against all of the corruptors is the point defense drone. He could bum rush this with all of his corruptors and probably make it. He does. Okay, good. He does have a few drones kicking out here. I don't know why I'm exactly cheering for the Zerg player. It's because base trading for the Terrans always seems to work out better. Kinda tense. I mean, Apocalypse is playing this right. The Zerg player is ready with drones around the map to be able to deal with this. Uh-oh. Don't lose this. Here he goes. It's time. See, with the Vikings on the ground, there's nothing else that's going to take damage from the Corruptors. That command center's just going to go down. Blammo. Oh wow, the ground won anyways. Cool. Awesome game. I'm glad I watched that one, even though it's 40 minutes long. I hope you guys like that. I have just about every single possible tech, because Vipers did come out. The only thing I missed was nuking ghosts, because the guy played Mech. Fantastic game. Love the base trades in the late game. Hope you guys like that. SeKo Starcraft. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later.